This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.
Discussions in this show should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult your investment professional before making important investment decisions. Securities offered through Cambridge Investment Research, Inc., a registered broker-dealer member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor, Hummingbird Wealth Management, LLC, and Cambridge are not affiliated. Now sit back and relax and enjoy another episode of Be the Hummingbird. Here's your host, Laura Johnson.
Hi, and welcome to the latest edition of Be the Hummingbird, where we strive to inspire, motivate, and educate. And we do this through stories or guest speakers or sharing of experiences or just pure education. So what are we striving to inspire, motivate, and educate you to do? Well, to be quite honest with you, is to live a better life. We think that through some of the education that we are going to provide you with and guest speakers and personal stories, that you'll find some piece of nugget of information that's going to allow you the opportunity to do something different or better in your life. And so living your life to the fullest is our ultimate goal. So what is today's topics? It's investment trends for 2025. So I'm going to hit pause. So I've been in the financial services industry since 1985, worked at a bank first, and then went on to do investments like I am today and financial planning like I am today. And so over the years, I've done investing for my clients, and I continue to do investing for my clients. But what I realized is I'm really good at financial planning. I'm mediocre, I guess you could say. I get the job done on the investments. So about a year and a half ago, I decided to outsource my investment management to a local financial advisor in my broker-dealer firm, Cambridge Investment Research. His name's Jason Dom. And Jason, I'm a certified financial planner. He's a certified financial analyst. And so obviously we balance each other out. He's a numbers geek. He's the guy who's getting on the computer and doing all the research and listening to all the webcasts and informational calls. And man, he geeks out over all these numbers and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, Jason, awesome. Don't have a clue what the heck you're saying to me. I'm learning a lot. He's also a CPA. And so he brings in that tax perspective. So just so you know, if you ever work with me or anyone at Hummingbird Wealth Management, we do have this person. He is phenomenal. He's a wealth of knowledge. And one day I'll have him on this podcast. He lives in Iowa, so it's going to be a little bit of a trick trying to get him on this podcast, but we'll make it happen. But today what I'm going to do is I'm going to just share with you some of the tidbits that I've come up with. There's some investment trends for 2025. Now I have to make full disclosure here. These are investment trends. They are not necessarily the best thing for you. If you hear something and you go, what? Then it's probably not the best thing for you. But I will tell you the key at any of this is there are no get-rich-quick schemes. Now, I'm sure there's somebody out there arguing with me right now. Oh no, if you buy ABC, you're gonna make $1 million. And recently I saw something, I'm not going to share with you where I saw this, but what are the top small cap stocks you can buy to become a millionaire? And in order to get this piece of literature, pay me $2,500. Well, let me tell you how to make $1 million. You sell a piece of paper that says the top stocks in order to make $1 million, right? Sounds like a semi-scam. And what I don't want to do is come across as scamming anybody. These are literally just trends. They are not necessarily the best thing for you, but they are some of the things that a lot of people are doing right now. So I just figured I'd share with you. So the first one is emerging technologies. So when I think of emerging technologies, the thing that comes to mind automatically for me is artificial intelligence. A lot of people are using artificial intelligence just to write a paper or an email or create a podcast or create a speech, right? But it's also being used in a lot of other industries, such as healthcare. Healthcare is using artificial intelligence quite a bit. So that's one of the emerging technologies that you might want to take a look at. The other one is something called quantum computing. This is already over my head. I have no idea what quantum computing is. And while it's still, I will tell you, I have it written down here, while it's still in its infancy, quantum computing has the potential to revolutionize industries such as cryptography, financial modeling, and pharmaceuticals. So yeah, quantum computing, that apparently is something else. The other one is clean energy innovations. This is again under the areas of emerging technologies. So some key areas in clean energy, this is a lot has to do with electric vehicles, is advanced battery technologies, such as, solid state batteries, hydrogen energy, carbon capture systems, etc. So that is emerging technologies. So the next area that's a trend for 2025, we're in 2025, aren't we? Sustainability and ESG investments. So sustainability integration are what they're looking at there are the things that consumers are demanding from the investment world. So I don't want to invest in anything that is dealing with child pornography, companies that might have something like that, or tobacco or firearms or things like that. That's what sustainability and integration is all about. It can also be looking at renewable energy, sustainability side of things, and water sustainability and energy sustainability and things like that. Another investment inside of this heading of sustainability are green bonds. Now, these are bonds that are issued to fund environmental projects, and investors want to make sure that they're looking at both corporate and government-tested green bonds. Another area of sustainability and ESG investments is policy and regulations. We're in a year where policy and regulations are under scope because we have a new administration, right? And so governments worldwide are introducing stricter sustainability requirements that create risks and opportunities for companies across all sectors. So that was sustainability and ESG investments. So the third area that's an investment trend for 2025 is geopolitical and macroeconomic factors. Now I gotta pause here for a second. Are we getting over anybody's heads at this point? This is a lot of technical jargon, right? So this is where I say, you know what? If this is starting to overwhelm you, maybe you sit down and talk to a financial advisor. They could guide you and educate you on these topics. So under the area of geopolitical and macroeconomic factors is something called supply chain reshoring. So post-pandemic, companies are reducing their reliance on global supply chains, and they are shifting their production to more friendly countries. And this creates an opportunity in industrial automation, logistics, and manufacturing sectors in regions like North America and Southeast Asia. Kind of gives you an idea what that's all about. Also under geopolitical and macroeconomic factors are central banking policies. So the persisting inflation and interest rate decisions are going to affect asset classes differently. High interest rates could make bonds more attractive, while certain stocks might face some challenges. And the third area under geopolitical and macroeconomic factors is emerging markets. Countries with favorable demographics like India and Vietnam, to believe it or not, may see strong growth, providing opportunities for equity and infrastructure investments. Fourth trend for 2025 for investments is digital assets and blockchain. Wow, what an industry, right? Never thought that we would have money that's computerized, right? And that's what we're really talking about in digital assets and blockchain. So the first of that is cryptocurrencies. So despite the market volatility, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, now again, I'm not recommending that, but that's an example of those, are maturing with increased institutional adoption. And actually, our current administration is looking into Bitcoin as something the government will be investing in. The second area under digital assets and blockchain is decentralized finance. So platforms are enabling peer-to-peer transactions without intermediaries or disrupting traditional banking, and creating opportunities in things like farming, staking, and tokenized loans. I said loans instead of loans. And the third area under digital assets and blockchain is regulations. Governments worldwide are implementing clearer frameworks for cryptocurrency, stabilizing the market, and potentially driving more adoption of that. Real estate market trends is the fifth topic under investment trends for 2025. So real estate, I'm going to be honest with you, throughout my 30 years has always been something. So it's interesting that it's a continued trend in 2025. So first is the one we all know about, and that's residential real estate. So with urbanization has been slowing since the pandemic, suburban and rural areas are actually seeing increased demand. So investors in real estate should monitor regions with housing shortages and infrastructure growth. Commercial real estate is another area under real estate market. And a lot of people think, oh, there's no way. I don't have the billions of dollars to get in commercial real estate. So hybrid work models are transforming office spaces, and industrial real estate is actually thriving due to e-commerce growth. So you're seeing less office space and more of the warehouses and the data centers and things like that. Then there's prop tech. So innovations like AI-driven property management, so there you go with that AI again, and blockchain-based real estate transactions are transforming this entire sector. The sixth trend in 2025 for investing is healthcare and biotech innovations. And we're all living longer, so it doesn't surprise me that healthcare is a part of this. So precision medicine is personalized treatments that are based on genetics and biomarkers. Those things that tell us we don't have cancer, but we might get cancer because of these different things. Companies in this space are promising investment targets. Then there's something called gene editing, and their technologies are advancing treatments for genetic disorders and cancer. If you haven't heard me say this, I hate cancer. So anything that is looking at reducing our chances of getting cancer or helping us to cure cancer, right on. Startups in this space often attract significant venture capital funding. Lastly, under healthcare and biotech innovations is telehealth. And that's something that's big. That has definitely happened a lot more since the pandemic. And I have a doctor in Florida. I'm in Maryland. And we telehealth all the time. I love it because I don't have to leave my house or my office to be able to meet with him. And while it peaked during the pandemic, it remains a growth area as patients demand just what I said, convenience. Sectors like travel, wellness, and digital entertainment are rebounding strongly. Luxury goods and unique experiences are also becoming key spending areas. And the third thing under consumer trends and shifting demographics is e-commerce evolution. I don't know about you, but I'm addicted to Amazon. So online marketplaces continue to grow. By the way, that's not an endorsement for Amazon. Got to keep saying those things because I don't want to get in trouble with the regulation police, right? But online marketplaces continue to grow. But the focus is shifting to seamless omnichannel experiences, personal shopping, and faster delivery options. You can order something and have it on your porch by tonight, and that's crazy. So the ninth trend for 2025 is private markets and alternative investments. These are things like private equity, venture capital, alternative investments. Private equity is really for your high net worth individuals and institutional investors. You turn for the private equity to get higher return, particularly in areas like tech, healthcare, and infrastructure. Venture capital, it's an early stage startup type of financing. And really focused on right now artificial intelligence, clean energy, and biotech. And these are riskier sectors, but they do offer some high growth potential. And third in that is alternative investments. This is investing in things like collectibles, whether it be art or wine or farmland or infrastructure projects. It's becoming increasingly popular for investors as well. So the 10th trend, we're almost done, I promise. The 10th trend for investing in 2025 is tech integration and finance. And that kind of overlaps with one of the other trends I was telling you about. So this is things like fintech innovations, reg tech, and artificial intelligence and automation again. So artificial intelligence is really playing a popular role in a lot of these trends. So fintech innovations are your payment platforms like Stripe or PayPal, and it's embedded in financial solutions where you're integrating your financial services into non-financial platforms. Those seem to be expanding as well. RegTech is your regulatory technology, and it's helping business like mine, as an example, stay compliant, particularly in areas like crypto or ESG or data privacy. Gosh, data privacy, when you've been hacked, that's a very stressful situation. So now there are companies out there making sure that happens less and less and less. So artificial intelligence and automation, that's where firms like mine, wealth management firms, are using artificial intelligence to automate their compliance, streamline client onboarding, and improve fraud detection. So the 11th trend, this is the last trend that we have for you, is risk and resilience in investment. So climate change, investors must account for risks. And I've said that all along, but this is tied to things like extreme weather and climate-related regulation, particularly when you have investments in things like real estate, Florida, ring a bell, California right now, ringing a bell, as well as insurance sectors. Again, California ringing a bell, Florida ringing a bell. So climate change can have an impact on your investments. Cybersecurity. I mean, obviously, I just mentioned the cyber threats or, having your identity stolen. With rising cyber threats, companies specializing in cybersecurity are seeing sustained growth as well. And then diversification strategies. In uncertain times, diversification across geographies, asset classes, and industries remains critical for risk management. So that is your 11 investment trends for 2025. It's a lot of information to take in. So here's one of the keys that I have learned throughout my many years of investing and financial planning for my clients is no apple is the same as the next apple. When you're comparing one apple to another apple, you might as well be comparing that apple to broccoli. You are not the same. I'm not the same as my neighbor. I'm not the same as my brothers. I'm not the same as my father. I'm not the same as my children. So no financial plan, no investment strategy is ever going to be the same either. We come from different backgrounds. We walk different lives. We have different dreams and goals for the future. And so while these might be trends, that doesn't necessarily mean they are the right thing for you. The best thing you can ever do is sit down, evaluate where it is you've been, where you are now, which is completely connected to where you've been. It's your journey. It's how you got there. And where you're going in the future. What are your hopes, dreams, and goals? And then build a plan around all of those things, your past, your present, and your future. And constantly be reevaluating that. And when I say constantly, you don't have to do it every day. Your budget, you want to probably, until it's solid, reevaluate that every week and then every month and every quarter and then every year. Never less than every year. Your investment strategy, maybe every month until you feel comfortable and then every year. But build a relationship with a team of people, whether that be professionals or friends and family, that are going to be there to support you. So I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. I'm your host, Laura Johnson, and this podcast has been brought to you by Listen Frederick. And as always, it's not goodbye, it's see you later.
Live radio, local podcasts, the Frederick Podcast Network at listenfrederick.com.